Hi, it is Julia, and today I have a video as part of my Project Pan November art supply edition. Okay, I'm not really sure what you call it, but you get the gist. So if you want to see what kind of materials I've added in, then you can check out the link in the thing below, and I will go through and talk about that. But if you just want to see a sketchbook spread, then stick around. So, as you can see, I've already started this spread. I did that yesterday, and today I really wanted to continue it. So, I'm Swedish, hence I'm a Viking. But yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in history. I love reading history, and this Friday I got a magazine that I subscribe to that is, like history magazine. It's really nice. And they had a nice article about the building of longhouses, the traditional houses that Vikings that they built. And I read that and it was really interesting. And I was like, I really want to draw something. And because I've started this Project Pan thing, it just like started. I had all the supplies and it looks really nice like as a spread because I'm using so few supplies and I know they look good together and I had such a good time. So I just wanted to continue with that today. So I have just like googled longhouses to go with that, and I wanted to do a few different ones. So the top left one is a very simple traditional one, and then below that we have a little bit of bigger one, and then on the right that I just finished is like it's a big one. It's a nice one. And so let me just tell a little bit about longhouses that I have learned. So they were built by Vikings, and it's a very old tradition of building. They are traditionally built out of wood, but also clay, or I don't know the word of torv. I will put that on the screen after I've edited this. Depending on where they settled. So, for example, the Vikings that lived where I live, they would use wood. We have lots of wood here, but the Vikings that settle on like Iceland, it's not that much wood on Iceland. So, depending on where they settle, what is common or sort of similar with all of these houses is that they are fairly long and narrow. And that they are built very much like the ships that they had, the longboats, so that they get wider on the so they're long and narrow, but in the middle they get wider and then they sort of taper back in, and they very often are supported with pillars on the side. You can see like on the especially on the middle one on the house, it has pillars to sort of support the houses so that they won't like fall apart. According to the article that I was reading, the expected life of these houses were about 100 years old, because they were made of wood and they didn't have like stuff to prevent rot or anything like that. And but to be fair, not many houses made it to 100 years because they often burned down, either by accident or neighbors, So yeah, I just, it was a very nice article, and I feel like it's really fun to go back and learning about this. I mean, I read about this as a child in school, but it's fun to go back, and I learned best by drawing. That is something I have figured out. So I sort of feel like when I do this kind of things, it's like I am the happiest. I get to learn new things and I get to draw, and therefore I remember the things. So yeah. So that is longhouses. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to be said about them. Apparently they used to have like one column of like big tree trunks. What do you call that? pillars, I suppose, in the middle of the house. But as the time went on, they tended to have two, so they could create more rooms inside. That is one theory, and another theory is that they would use those kind of bigger pillars to create more storages. So on the house on the right, it looks like there were like two storages. Also very common in these houses were that they had a few different rooms, or like one big hall where the fire would be, and you can see like there's a hole in the roof, and that is where the smoke would go out. But of course there would be a lot of smoke in the house. And I did see a documentary about houses in Finland, like old houses, not now, but they used smoke to heat up the house, which was very interesting. So I'm thinking it could be something like that. You keep the smoke up in their house to create warmth, and because the smoke rises, it won't be too smoky where you are. I don't know. That is just a thought. But that is why they have like a little hole up in the roof. And of course, there's many of these longhouses had a part of the house as a stable. Now, from what I gather and what I have read, this is a bit of where the historians don't really agree. Some say that this is for the animals, to keep the animals safe and also to heat up the house. But on many farms from this time, you can also find stables. So I don't know if that would just like some Vikings wanted the animals in the house and some didn't, or if they just like the bigger farms had stables. I don't know, but they have found like both of these different. But I mean, it makes sense that you want to have the animals inside in the winter to keep the house warm and to keep them safe. I would imagine the animal would need less food if they were inside. They didn't need to consume as much food to keep warm. I don't know. Also, some say that the serfs would sleep in the stables with the animals. And yeah, so it's really fun because the article that I read just now, it had a lot of different points, and it is very fun to read about all of these different, but it's sometimes you like, I just want one straight answer. But yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking like, would I want to live like in the same house as my horse or my sheep? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I would mind. So, but speaking of that hole in the roof that they had, I also found an article. I'm going to link this down below because it is on a website. The language that the Vikings brought to England. We learn about this in school, and I didn't remember exactly what words, but I thought it could be really fun talking about that in this voiceover where we talk about Vikings. So I have this article here, and one of the first is actually the word window that comes from vindunga, which is that hole in the roof where the smoke gets out. So I thought that was a nice little transition. So I have a few words here that are Scandinavian words, I would say. I mean, Vikings were not just Swedish, they were from Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. But all of these words, I mean, I have used or I have heard or read throughout my life. So, yeah, I mean, we have then window that comes from that like hole in the roof to let out the smoke. But then knife, skin, and leg. That is from the Vikings. I'm just going to say Vikings. I mean, so we know what we're talking about. And that comes from the word fläsklägg, so like a part of a pig that you eat. But then also loose, odd, wrong, die, cast, take, egg, ill, call. Those are also Viking languages. And their, them, and they, them, their are also Viking language, I suppose. And we still use these words, we just don't spell them as we do in English, but we still have those. And then, of course, most of the Viking words, if you can call it that, are up in the north of England and in Scotland, because that was the place there were most. So all of you, and especially Jem from the Color Cave, I'm hoping you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to try to pronounce these Scottish words that are Viking words. So we have kirk, that is church, kest or caste, so a chest, and that is the same, we say kista, so we just finish it with another letter, but that's the same. Burn, so like a barn. Oh, sorry, burn? Yeah, burn. I think barn. Sorry, barn. So kid or a child, we say barn. So like, you know, where the animals sleep in a barn. That's how we spell the kid. Late is to look for. So I'm thinking these are more from Denmark, because that sounds very Danish, and also leke, so to play, and host, to cough. That sounds very Danish to me. But also many place names are up in these the Nordic in the north of England and Scotland, the Shetland and the Orkney Islands. If they have something that ends with let's see here, by or toft, that is Scandinavian. So we have a lot of place names. So by, so like you could say like Derby or Kirkby. By is the Swedish word for village, like a small village. And toft, that is like a plot of land. So that's really interesting. So we have an example here. There is Kirby. Sorry, that was, I don't know, French? Kirby. Yes, Kirby. And that would mean like church village in Sweden. Also, if it ends with gate, gate, that is Swedish too, and Danish, I believe. I'm sorry, to all my Norwegian. I think Norwegian and Swedish are so similar, I can't really tell them apart when it comes to this. And then we also have, of course, some of the language from the Normandy, because the Normandy was taken on the 900s by Vikings, and Normandy is sort of translated into the man of north, or their land. So many names in that region has roots in the Swedish, or in the Viking language. I'm just going to say Viking language because I don't want to claim all of it is Swedish. But they end the article really funny with a word that the Vikings brought to Normandy, and that is skipa, eller skipa, and that means to prepare or to equip, and that in French became équipé. But then when the Normans took England in 1066, équipé became equip, and then after about 800 years it came back to Swedish, and now it's ekipera. So it's really funny, like this word has sort of gone all full circle. It is really fun. But yeah, and I think it's I'm going to link this article, you can find it below, about this. And so I mean, it is Swedish, but I suppose if you go in so like much Google Translate, because this is like my favorite thing to do. It is really drawing and learning about history. So yeah, I'm so excited that I started this project Pan. It has already been so worth it, and I'm just a few days in. So yeah, but just looking at the pen that I chose, it is a Viking pen. Of course, I would have to go with sort of Viking theme. I'm not sure if I would like continue November with a Viking theme, but the shop update that I had this month was like Northvember, because the colors that I what do you call it? That I have had in the shop before, that I has come back, were all of the North gods, so Balder, Odin, Helle, Loki, Idun, Vidar, and Frigg. So it's all like Northvember, so this is just perfect. I'm having so much fun, and I hope you will like it too, and that you get some, like, I don't know, hopefully you like learning about Vikings, because I would really like to do more. And I think I want to do something about the gods. Have read quite a lot about the different Viking gods, or the North mythology gods. So if you're interested in that, I think I might want to do something. And yeah, but I hope you liked it. This is just a little quick sketchbook page, and I had so much fun just exploring and looking at different houses. And I have painted quite a lot of houses. I mean, traditional Swedish allmoge houses, and a lot of houses from Amsterdam. So it's really fun. I mean, I love painting houses. So there's just like 1,000-year difference. Which is really fun to see how they were built. And I really tried to add different in. So we have a few that are like, you know, timber, and then we have a few that are whatever the word for torv. I can't remember. I know I have read that word. Yeah. I can't remember it on top of my head. It's not a word I typically use when I speak English, I have to say. But yeah. And oh, I have to say, the Jane palette is working so well with this. The only thing is adding in the green. As you can see, I have my palette because I'm working on something else at the same time. So I have my studio palette, and I'm using Daniel Smith Green Appetite Genuine, which is a very bright granulating green that is beautiful, and it's perfect for this if you want to add in green, but getting some life into it. Some greens can be very dull, and like, I mean, green in nature is not one color. So I think when you want to draw something very quickly and adding green, the Green Appetite Genuine is perfect for that, because no matter what you do, you will get some variation in your color. And then I have just mixed it with a little bit of Nightly to get it a bit warmer, or I can mix it with a Darcy to get it a bit darker and cooler. So yeah. Okay, I think that is about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have liked this video. I am so happy with this. And if you have started Project Pan, I would love to know like what you have chosen. If you have chosen like a sketchbook or a coloring book, or if you have chosen like color pencils or watercolors or whatever. I would love to know. Or if you want to, you can tag me on Instagram and like just share a picture or something. I am so nosy. I would love to know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have liked it. Come back on Saturday for a studio vlog, and yeah, I hope to see you then.